What's up, y'all? It's another free game topic type of video. The title: Working at a Strip Club and What I Learned About the Game. Just to set some groundwork, when I'm talking about game, I'm meaning the arena that you compete in. You know, whether it's a 9 to 5, whether it's the service industry, whether it's the club industry, whether it's the street industry, just the game, whether it's the PlayStation. You know, you could be an online content creator. The game is the arena that your operation exists in. So when I'm talking about game, that's what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about finessing or specifically trying to trick or fool or bamboozle somebody. When I say game, I'm meaning the system in general. Working at the strip club, I worked at the strip club for about 2-3 years, maybe. Let's just say 3. And what I learned pretty quickly that sex sells. You hear that a lot growing up. You hear that a lot in general, just around the world. Sex sells. Sex in the City. What happens in Vegas stays. Like, you just hear certain things like that. And I got to kind of see it firsthand working at the strip club. Being like a business owner in there, an entrepreneur, working as a bathroom attendant. I would come to work some days, like I would get out the parking lot, and this is where the actual game starts to come in, like the instructions on how to navigate through the system or through the game or through the whatever it is, whatever arena you're in. This is where the game actually starts. I'm about to explain it. So the game started for me. I was already in the game, but I knew I was an active player when I showed up to work one day, and there's a parking lot, and I park my car, get out, about to walk up to the club, inside, and the car next to me is rocking back and forth. I look over, I'm very observant. I notice a lot of things. I listen and watch more than I talk, so I look over. It's a bitch in there riding dick. Stripper. Didn't even have to be a stripper. It was a chick in there riding dick. And over time, I started to see this multiple times. It was normal for me. Like, actually, the first day it happened, I was like, oh, okay. All right, about to go in and go to work. Like, it was like I had to kind of go numb to it. It was like at that point, I was starting to be programmed. And that's why I say the game had begun already. I was already in the game, but that's when I started to begin to get programmed, to get seasoned. Just that first time seeing that was a life-changing experience. I realized that it's all an illusion, and I'll explain. As I got deeper and deeper into the game, I would see, for example, strippers walk up to the ATM with men. Sometimes the strippers would put the card inside of the ATM. She would either know the code or she would get the code from the dude, put in the amount she want, takes the money out. And these guys are wasted. These guys are simped out. These guys are weak, vulnerable, victims, some of them even, really. So that was the other thing that struck me. Wow, these girls are literally dragging guys to the ATM, pulling out money consistently over and over. And I was attracted to that more than the actual chick itself. I was attracted to her ability to easily obtain this money. So that within itself started to kind of program me. Wow, these guys are giving up money for nothing, pretty much, for a cute face and a slim waist. And in reality, that's nothing. That has no value. That holds no value. So that was the other thing that kind of started to program me. And I want to say the third thing that really did it for me, that made me go completely full throttle. It was like I was trying to dip my toe in the water and I got pushed into the water. Women were throwing themselves at me, meaning I didn't have to pay for a stripper to have sex with her. I didn't have to try hard to get it. Like, women were throwing themselves at me. So I started to kind of put 1, 2, and 3 together, and I realized, wow, these women don't really value money like that. These women are just doing what they want to do, regardless of the rules, regardless of the system that's set up, regardless of the way that things are supposed to go. The pimp that some of those girls had, the pimp don't care how she gets the money. He just wants her to get the money. And some girls didn't even have to dance for it. They didn't have to have sex for it. They could just get it just any other way, just by taking it. Because these men are so desperate and willing to give it up. So I started to realize, wow, the game is crazy. Like, the game is like mind-blowing. Like, after I started to see all that, become numb, get women, I started to realize, whoa, the game is totally not what I thought. I was working in a whorehouse covered up as a strip club. I came to that realization on my own, and it took a little time. I want to say about months to a year. Let's just say anywhere from 3 to 7 months. It took me that amount of time to figure out that strip clubs, most of them at least, are just a cover up for a brothel, for a sex den, the devil's dungeon, a playhouse. That's literally just what it is. Like, it's just a big, clusterfuck. So I started to get my head bust open with game, because you gotta realize this is a new reality for me, a new arena. So when I say head bust open, imagine someone's head being cracked open, and instead of everything oozing out, everything oozing in. Imagine cracking an egg on video, but reversing that and then going back the other way. It was like my head was cracked open, and I was just ingesting so much game. I was being programmed. I was being groomed. I was being brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. I was so brainwashed to the point that I don't drink. Like, just being in that industry, like, seeing how vulnerable it would make people, and see how people would get taken advantage of, even like friends and people I cared about, it would just take a toll on them sometimes. And it kind of brainwashed me to never even want to desire to even take a drink. But back to what I learned about working in the strip club. It's all an illusion. The game is meant to uphold that illusion. You know what I mean? The game, it's already set. It has a certain setting, a certain rules, certain programs. And there's certain people who break the rules. There's certain people who follow the rules. There's certain people who suffer because they try to follow the rules. There's certain people who succeed because they break the rules. So as I'm catching on, as I'm learning, I'm starting to realize, wow, the game is not what I thought. The game is unimaginable. Certain things that I could bring up, I probably can't say on this, but certain things I would see and experience, you literally would not experience it anywhere else in life. Maybe online, you can find like an online topic or fetish or Reddit about it, but some of the things I've encountered, some of the people I've encountered, you would only have to be there to see it. One time in particular, a guy came and told me he's in VIP with the chick, and he's having his way with her. I asked him, how much are you spending on that? Because I'm just so curious. I'm just asking, like, I'm soaking up game. You know what I mean? I'm just getting any game. He's telling me I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. She ain't no limits. I'm doing the unthinkable. Some of the worst, fetishes out there that you could, he's doing that. You know what I mean? Here at this club. And, hey man, how much are you paying for that? How much you give her for that? He looked at me and was like, I'm not paying her nothing. I'm just in VIP. It's a playground back there. So when he said that, I was like, wow. You're doing this, and this with the chicken. You didn't pay her anything. So I realized right then at that point, it really started to click. Like, I was like, oh, okay. It started to actually make sense. All of this is an illusion. It don't matter how much money you spend on a chick, she'll never love you. It don't matter how many times you go to the strip club, you'll never be fulfilled. It don't matter how many times you have sex. It won't improve you by any means necessary. I started to realize it don't matter what you are. You could be a man, woman, simp, trick, alpha, beta, boy, girl. The game don't give a damn. The game don't respect nobody. There's no respect in the game. It's just cutthroat. It just is what it is. It's a jungle. It just happens. It just does it. One chick over here charging one dude, and then she's over here giving it to me for free. It didn't matter. It didn't matter about the rules or the regulations. People were doing what they wanted to do. People were breaking rules. And I realized that it was all an illusion. I realized that none of that will ever amount to anything. I realized that it will all go to waste. You could be the richest dude and she'll be giving it to a brokey for free. The game is just one big fucking illusion. Like, yeah, there's rules, there's regulations, just stand on business, and there's a code and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is the code don't respect nobody. The code don't care if you do it or not. The code is just the code. The rules are just the rules. We don't care if you follow it or not. If you don't follow it, we got consequences for that. And certain people didn't care about the consequences. Certain people, the consequences are there for the people who choose to break the rules. It just was one big illusion. I could walk in there with $1,000 and I could throw the money on the stripper. I could throw the whole stack on the stripper and walk straight out and not get anything in return and go home to my girlfriend and have sex. Like, or I could do everything at a strip club with a stripper, have sex with her, spend $1,000 and have sex with her, and go home to my family and act like everything is fine. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. It's just one big illusion. It don't matter which way you do it or how you do it. It won't amount to shit. And that's what I realized, that it's just one big matrix. It's just another matrix within the matrix. It's just one big distraction. It's just a hamster wheel. It's just it's like going to GTA. If you've ever played GTA, there's a strip club you can go to on there, on GTA. That strip club only exists when you go to it on the game. Like, when you're not thinking about it, when you don't have a mission at that strip club, it's non-existent. It doesn't even exist. But the minute you show up to it, it pops up. It's there. It's open. It's active. It's rolling. People, I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all stay safe out here and wake up and smell the coffee. It may take a process. It may be kind of hard for people to figure it out. I may do like a sequel to this, another story time about some of my experiences, but be willing to be dumb. I was dumb. I was a fucking idiot getting into that industry. I didn't realize what was going on. It wasn't until I started to experience things and actually go through it, and then looking back in retrospect, like, damn, none of that mattered. None of it mattered. None of it. Even the girls that I did get and have you sleep with or whatever, it didn't matter. It never amounted to anything. All it left me with was a whack ass story time to tell y'all on how I figured out it was an illusion. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that, but that was it. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.